Hello and welcome back to That Gym Couple podcast.
Hosted by Cal and Lucy.
So in this week's episode, we are going to talk to you guys about what we've been up to over the last couple of weeks, because we know we've been a little bit radio silence, where we've been, what we've been doing.
Along with our listeners' questions and a little bit about our training splits and how we've been managing running and weightlifting.
Enjoy the episode. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm alright. I'm a bit hot and bothered, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not complaining, but I just can't keep up with this country.
No, it was like raining yesterday.
It was raining and it was actually cold as well. Like, I was in a full-on trackie and hoodie yesterday and I was cold. And then today I'm sweltering. It's just the back, what's the word? The
back and forth, yeah. It's unpredictability.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Like, you go out in the morning with a coat on and you have to take it off
in July,
like 5 minutes down the road, because it's roasting hot.
I mean, obviously I'm glad it's sunny, but
yeah,
it's definitely a mood booster. So many of my UK based clients have been struggling because the weather's just been awful in the UK.
Yeah, it's I see it with everyone at the moment. Like, no one really knows what they're supposed to be doing.
It's just it's really hard. Like, it's hard enough as it is to get yourself up, to do your step count, go to the gym, do your workout, just tick off all those boxes, let alone when you wake up and it's miserable. It's hard work, isn't it? And you have to do that for so long during the winter. You think, summer's coming, it will get a little bit easier, I can really focus on my goals. And then it's really tough, but we've got to push through regardless of the weather, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. And like the thing is, a lot of the social plans don't stop.
No.
So the weather's been poor, but everyone's still been really sociable. So they've kind of gone.
Have they? I haven't been.
Yes, you have. We just got back from a.
Yeah, but that was like family. That doesn't really count.
That does count. Of course, it counts.
Yeah. Speaking of, we're so sorry that we haven't recorded for a couple of weeks.
I did say that we were going to, and then we tried to pack our bag, and
Callum had this very silly idea.
It's not silly.
It was ridiculous.
I want to get a podcast out for.
Oh my god! Any girl out there will totally relate to me. Callum's like, we're filming the podcast in Portugal, so he's thinking we're going to take both the mics that probably weigh 2.5 kilograms each.
No, they don't.
So that's an extra 5 kilograms, along with the massive. We wouldn't necessarily need the stands for them, but I needed as much luggage space as I could get. We were only taking hand luggage, so I was not risking putting these big mics in there. So it's my fault that we didn't record. I do apologise.
Yeah, again.
But because we tried to do it in Marbella that time, but the sound quality just wasn't.
Yeah, that was with
there.
Different mics though, wasn't it? And
yeah, it was with the handheld ones.
Just didn't quite work. So, but I'm still adamant that one day we'll manage to get a overseas podcast episode out.
Maybe, we'll see. But yeah, we did go away for what was supposed to be a week, turned into 10 days.
Yeah, that was quite nice.
It was really nice. We prolonged our stay. Callum's got a lovely little tan.
Got a tan. Someone commented on today, and it's like,
really?
They were like, "Oh, tan's holding well," and I was like, "I know, I don't know why."
Yeah, when you FaceTimed me earlier, I was like, "God, you're really tanned."
Yeah. So I don't normally tan, which is quite nice.
No, but you did. You sat in the sun quite a lot this time, but not kind of trying to tan. You're just chilling
just
in
out
the sun.
In the sun. Yeah. Don't look at the back of my legs; they're like still white.
Yeah, or your back generally.
Yeah,
you really need to lie on your back.
But I'm not trying to tan. I was just out in the sun.
No, but now you need to try and tan your back.
How?
It looks pale.
With what?
Well, next holiday.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, we had a really lovely time, and it was like a well-needed trip with my parents.
Yeah.
Quality time.
Exactly. No, it was really nice. A lot of I was going to say rest and recovery, but it wasn't really, because we were still training when we were out there.
Yeah, I guess a holiday for us. Some holidays we do go on and we kind of just wait and see how we feel. We never really go with too much expectation, because we don't want to put pressure on ourselves.
I think sometimes if we're going on holiday, we'll have a little conversation before, like, are we going to train? Is this a holiday where we're actually going to try?
Train?
Exactly. Like, if you're going on a weekend break, you're not going to. What's the point?
If it's like a city break, no, you don't want to spending 2 hours of your day in the gym
when you can explore and
you're doing loads of steps anyway. But if we would probably try, if we were booking a hotel and we had the choice between there being a gym there and a not, we would probably choose the one with the gym so that we had the option to if we wanted to. But we never set expectations on ourselves like we have to train our normal schedule every single day or whatever. We wake up, and if we feel like training, we train. If we don't, we don't. Like, it's very much because we want to, not because we have to.
Yeah, exactly.
And we did 4 runs while we were there?
4 runs were out there and 2 gym sessions.
Yeah, we smashed it.
Which is pretty good.
The runs were so nice as well because it was blue sky. We were running along there's a boardwalk in Portugal right outside where we stay that goes all the way along the beach. It's flat, it's bouncy, there's loads of people doing yoga.
You feel like you're flying when you're on there. It was so good.
There's none of this uneven road, potholes, curbs to worry about.
Cars.
In the UK, I honestly am just touch wood. Everyone that's listening, touch your head right now. I'm waiting for the moment in the UK when my ankle just like trips on a dodgy pavement.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's terrible.
There's a lot of them around here as well. I feel like the council's just not done any work to the pavements. No.
It's not even that they're bumpy either. They're quite slanted.
Yeah.
So you either have to run at the top of the pavement or the bottom of the pavement. Otherwise, you're just like on a slant. But yeah, we did some really lovely runs. We did I think we did 2 5Ks, a 9K.
And an 8K.
And an 8. Did we?
8
and 9. Yeah.
Started with an 8, then did a 5, and then a 5, and then a 9.
Yeah. And it was really, really enjoyable.
And then, we came back and just been back to reality and back to
the rain.
Back to the rain. Yeah, literally flew in and it
was pouring.
The pilot said over the tannoy thing and on the plane, he was like, flying back in and the weather is rainy as you'd expect, and everyone just sort of groaned. It was like, oh, God's sake. Of course. Yeah.
I do sort of feel like this is a bit rogue. We didn't really discuss that I'd say this in the podcast, but if anyone's wondering, this episode we want to kind of talk a little bit more about our running experience, because obviously you guys know we are training for a half marathon in October, and we are self-proclaimed non-runners, aren't we? As we're not bodybuilders, but I guess we train in a bodybuilding way.
Yeah. So
we've kind of always said we're just not built for running. It's just not our speed. Pardon the pun. But yeah, we decided to do a half marathon to support my mum, who recently got diagnosed with breast cancer. She won't mind me talking about it, which I haven't really talked too much about, but seeing as this episode is more about our running, I thought I would just mention it, that is why we are running. And we're trying to raise money for cancer research, just because I think when you get news like that, you can feel really helpless and you can't really do anything. You're completely out of control. So we wanted to just do something, and I think my mum's strength has really inspired us, hasn't it? And it's kept us going. Yeah, she's an absolute trooper. Like nothing brings her down. No. At all. She just cracks on with it. She's like, it's, I'm not going to let anything get in my way of a good time. Nothing. So yeah, we'll pop Lucy's got a donation page, so we'll put a link at the bottom. Yeah, in the description of this episode, and if you do have an opportunity to donate on there, that would mean a lot, I think, to both of us. And thank you to those who have donated so far. Some of them have reached out, haven't they? And they've explained that they've got loved ones who have or are going through cancer treatments of sorts. So it's really inspiring when people do sort of share their own personal stories as well. So yeah, because I'm not obviously, but I am lucky enough to say that I've not had any cancer in my family at all. Again, touch wood, but it's happened now. So when we found out, it was just so shocking. Like, we just weren't expecting it at all, as I'm sure most people aren't. And it just... I think when you found out as well, because it was just on the back of such a high within your family. Yeah, my sister's wedding. Yeah, so it was, you're up there, then suddenly you're all the way down here. So yeah, it's going to feel very different. But yeah, it's never a nice thing. No, it's awful. And like anyone that is going through it or has a family member or whoever, I just sending you a massive hug, because it's so hard. And you just want the best for them and you can't do anything. So although us running a half marathon doesn't really do anything. It's giving us something to focus on. It's giving us something to remain positive about. And my goal is to raise £2,000, which looking back, maybe was slightly optimistic. But we are making a good start. We've still got a little bit of time. But as Callum said, any support would honestly just mean so much. And it really does go towards life-saving research that cancer research do. So yeah, that's our reason. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is just because, as we were saying, the weather has been absolutely horrendous. And oh my God, there's days where the last thing I want to do is go for a run.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, that was one of those days.
Well, we left and it was raining.
Yeah, and it'd been raining the whole day. It'd been raining all day the day
we were
before.
like, oh, we've got to do this. It was only an easy run. We had to do a 5K, but it was a struggle getting up and out. But
I just was, like Callum kept saying, stop procrastinating. Come on, get out the door. We're going. And I would also
put away
trained...
the shoes by the door before we go. Like, there's too many shoes here by the door. We need to put them away. Yeah, but you don't need to do that now.
I know.
We're literally walking out the door to run.
It was a double session day as well. We both trained at the gym that day as well. So I was quite exhausted to then have to get up and go for a run. But then, as you said, whenever I have those days, you just say to me, we're not doing this for us. We're doing it for your mum. So let's go. And that just gets me out the door, obviously. Like, she is the reason we're doing it. So that's what we always say. You've got to have a reason why.
Yeah.
To do these hard things.
God knows I wouldn't be running otherwise.
No, exactly.
I have been enjoying it though.
Yeah, me too. And I am so proud of us and how far we've come. Like, so many people have messaged me and been like, I can't believe you guys are running 10K already. And we started 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The other day, Callum was like, in 9 weeks, we're up to 10K. I was like, babe, it's been 4 weeks. I don't know where I got
that from.
I don't know where you got that from. We started running 4 weeks ago.
I think it was part of a different conversation. I think Couch to 5K lasts 9 weeks. I think that's what the conversation
I mean, it feels like it's been 9 weeks.
So Couch to 5K, I think the whole thing is 9 weeks to get you from 0 to 5K.
Christ.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Well, but it's slow. It's to really kind of...
And I guess it's for beginners.
Yeah.
Who might not have ever been to the gym before or anything. Yeah. And, we are complete beginners to running, but yesterday we did a 5K and... It felt good. Like, it felt relatively, dare I say, maybe not easy. I wouldn't say it's ever easy, but it felt so much easier. And like, I remember 4 weeks ago, I couldn't even run a 5K.
Yeah.
And we did a 10K on the weekend. And every weekend we do an extra K. So this weekend we've got 11K. The weekend after it'll be 12K, which doesn't actually feel that daunting anymore because we've done it 1K extra every week.
Yeah, it's like you finish it and you're like, oh, that was hard work, or however easy it might have felt potentially, you're also kind of going like, could I do another K? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so now coming up to this one this weekend, I'm like, well, we did 10K last week. We can definitely do one more K.
Yeah. It's just plotting the routes every time. It's a killer.
Well, I don't know what I'd do without you because I just follow you. I've got no idea where we're going. I'm
like running and have to point like, we're going this way. We're going this way.
No, sometimes I think to myself, God, if we broke up, which we never will, obviously, because we're together forever. But if we did break up, I'd be like, God, I need to learn to use Strava. I need to learn to plot my own routes.
Yeah.
I need to not rely on you for that.
Anyway.
Let's
move on.
Yeah. Well, moving on, but kind of... Oh, did you want to do a listener's message or do you want to just carry on the running theme?
Listener's message and then
I feel like maybe we should save that to the end because...
Nah, we'll do a listener's message now.
All right, and then we'll come back to the running. Okay, so I had a question from someone who slid into my DMs. I'm new to the gym and I'm worried about getting injured. What are the best things to do to avoid injury?
Well, I guess it depends what...
I think there's a few things.
Yeah, it depends what you're doing. Like, I guess new to the gym.
Let's presume weightlifting.
Okay, well, for starters, start slow, really steady. Don't try and lift your own capabilities. Focus on form. Form is so important, and there's times still when we've got clients who've been training for a while with us and we have to kind of go back and be like, okay, let's just reassess, check your form, send videos, just to make sure that everything's moving as it should be.
I
I think that's
Yeah, so I was going to say the same. Form and technique is so important. So many people go in and they start ego lifting because it's tempting. Like everyone around you is lifting heavy and you think, oh, I don't want to look really silly.
Especially if you do start making progress, it's easy to kind of slip into that. Like, oh, I'm making progress quickly, which you would do as a beginner. So where do you sort of keep that slow
progression going?
Progression.
Yeah, so just keep it slow and steady. Do not start adding loads of weight to the bar until you feel 100% confident that your form is good. You may well get injured if you start lifting heavy before the form is right. So yeah, definitely get that right. The only other thing I was going to say is don't overtrain and prioritize rest and recovery.
Yeah.
If you go in trying to train weights 7 days a week and you're not taking rest days, you run the risk of injury.
Absolutely. And I was going to say quickly, like with the progression, the difference between 2 5-kilogram plates and 2 1 kilogram or 2.5 kilogram plates is massive.
Yeah.
You know, it's double. Essentially, it's double.
And you don't need to progress that quickly. No. Like just putting 1 kilogram on each side is still progressive overload. So just see how that feels, and just build it up slowly. The only other thing that just popped into my head as well is make sure you're fueling your body properly. Okay, you might be in let's say you're trying to lose body fat, you're in a calorie deficit, sure. But if you're in a very, very strict calorie deficit and trying to lift super heavy weights, your body might not be equipped to handle that.
Recipe for disaster, that is.
Yeah. So make sure you're fueled, even if you are in a calorie deficit. Don't be silly about it. Food is fuel, it's energy. So your body needs to have some energy to be able to go in and lift weights safely.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you agree with that?
I completely agree.
Fantastic. Anything else? I think that's probably the main
ones. That's it. Yeah, it's just making sure that you're lifting sensibly with correct form. You are fueled correctly, and you're not trying to ego lift. You're not trying to sort of lift way more than you should be at that point. So. And
you're resting, recovering,
yeah,
warming up. Just loads keep coming into my head. Warm up. Make sure you stretch before you start. Don't just go straight in. That could also cause injury. And as we always say, muscles are built when you rest, not in the gym, because your muscle fibers that you've just torn from training grow back together when you rest. So prioritize rest and recovery.
Grow back stronger.
Yes.
When you rest, yeah.
That's what I said.
You just say grow back together.
Well, they grow back stronger.
They do grow back
They
together.
technically do, because you've torn them.
So you tear the muscle fibers and then they grow back together stronger.
Yeah.
So then you can essentially lift more and your body's used to lifting.
Muscle.
But yeah. Thank you for sending that in.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I wanted to, seeing as we're kind of talking a little bit about how to balance running and weight training or bodybuilding, because I think that was one of the things we were unsure of when we started running.
Yeah.
We didn't know how our bodies were going to respond. I think that was one of our main concerns. I think actually what I'm learning is, of course I knew this, but to actually physically feel it myself, is that weight training and running actually can coincide alongside each other quite nicely. Like it's nice to feel fit and strong, and it's nice to feel like your training in the gym could support your running.
Yeah, I think previously, like years ago, it was very much seen that you lift weights or you run. Like you lift weights or you do this.
Or you're a runner, yeah.
So there's still very much a separation, and I think if you were to go online and go onto a running forum, a lot of them would be like, no, don't train weights, because it will affect your running, so you won't be able to run as well. And then vice versa, if you went and spoke to bodybuilders or weightlifters, they'd be like, oh, don't run because it'll affect your training. It's essentially doing cardio, like it's killing your gains. But on the back of this sort of hybrid athlete wave that's sort of swept through the industry, it's really interesting to see that so many people are taking that on now, and so many people are getting involved in some way or another. I mean, the amount of people that have done high rocks has grown so quickly, to the point where you probably couldn't, if you wanted to do a high rocks, you'd have to wait till next year, summer next year probably, to book onto one.
Because it's so fully
They're
booked.
just so fully booked. So things like that, although that's not really weightlifting, it's still kind of gym based resistance kit. You've got your sled, sled pull and stuff like that. But yeah, it is really interesting to see how much it's come along just in the time that I've been in the industry.
It's changed massively, like you say, but I think my personal opinion, I didn't really like the fact that we were lifting weights and sure, I felt strong, but I didn't like the fact that I knew deep down I wouldn't be able to run a 5K.
Yeah.
Like maybe I would, but I knew it would be a real struggle.
You kind of just put it like, you kind of just go, oh, I'm not interested.
I'm a bodybuilder, so
I'm
like,
not interested in that.
It's not my type of training.
You do that. Like, I'm not interested in running.
You do 40 minutes on the Stairmaster, but it's completely different.
Yeah.
It is completely different. And I wanted to be able to run as well as lift weights. And now like I said, I'm proud of us that we've proved to ourselves that we can do it. And I think it's really good to be fit and also be strong.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about was I think there is a lot of misconceptions out there, some of which we probably held ourselves before we started running. Like things like, for one that I had, I was worried that I would lose all my muscle. I still kind of feel a little bit like that now, if I'm honest, because I do feel like I've maybe dropped my training back a little bit because I feel quite fatigued from all the running. So losing muscle was one misconception that I definitely had. Lose strength, and that my body will look different maybe from running.
Well, it will. Essentially, it will to some degree. I mean, it's not going to change drastically. You know, you're still training. You're still lifting weights in the same way. So it's just where, you're not going to feel like I just kind of don't really know how to get this out.
I guess you have to adapt your goal and your expectation.
Yeah, and that's something that I think we both struggle with, as you said. Going into this, like, we both trained 5 days a week. Like, I've trained 6 days a week before, and going into it, we've had to really adapt and take away one of our gym training sessions.
Yeah.
Like, I hate, or used to hate, doing full body days.
Yeah.
Because it really throws me off and I don't feel like I'm getting everything out of a session that I want to get out of it. Some people love it, and I've done them before and it's worked well for me at times, but for the most part, I'd rather split my days up.
Same.
So I can focus on one body part or one sort of movement at a time and really nail that. And I come away from the gym feeling like, oh, like I've got a really good pump on my chest because I've just done a chest day, or my legs are absolutely blasted to bits because I've just done a leg day.
You sort of feel like you're cheating a bit when you've only done like 3 leg exercises, then you're moving on to upper body.
And I mean, it's volume throughout the week. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're training the same amount of reps or sets throughout the week, you're in a absolutely fine position to be in. But it's the mental side of it, of having to take away one of my gym sessions that I love and give that to running, which I didn't love. And I'm still like, I wouldn't say I love running now. You know, I'm enjoying it because I'm making good progress. But I'm sure that when that progress slows down, it's going to be like everything else, where if you're not making constant progress, it's hard to kind of enjoy it.
And I think we've both, I don't know why, but we've both been really struggling with our training in the gym recently. Maybe because we're tired.
I'd put that down to fatigue. I think that's the other thing that going on to, I think one of your points was about losing strength, and I do feel like I've somewhat lost strength, but because my body is tired and I'm fatigued, and trying to balance the training that we're doing together has been very difficult. And obviously that's why there are so many online coaches and PTs these days who are pushing into that hybrid training style, because they know that people need help with that. Yeah. And it is hard, it's difficult, and it's always going to be a bit of give and take, and do a little bit more here and a little bit less here. They say if you've got 2 buckets, right, one of them is your weight training, one of them's your running, you can't fill both of them to 100%. No. So you've got to either fill them 50-50 or 75-25, or depending on what your goal is. Yeah. At the moment, our goal is more running, because we want to try and get to that point where we can run the distance that we've set ourselves to run, which is a half marathon. But after that, we might end up going, cool, I don't plan on running another half marathon anytime soon. I like the running, so I might keep that in, but I'm just going to do a 5k once a week and then a 10k on a weekend. So you're running twice a week, but your goals have changed drastically in terms of what your actual goal is for your running. So then on the flip side, you then put more back into your gym training because you're able to have that flexibility. Your body can only take so much before it breaks, and it goes back to that question we had previously. One of the things that you can't do is work so hard that you will end up breaking your body, because it can only take so much.
Just overtraining. And I think before we went away, we were on the cusp of overtraining potentially. I don't think we've fully nailed it yet. Like, we're still figuring things out. Like, as we always say on this podcast, we do not claim to be perfect at any of this. Like, we're still learning about our own bodies and things like that. But it's tough. I would say it is tough not to have a full rest day, because like my clients do cardio on rest days. That's fine. But running is very fatiguing. It's very taxing on your body. So it's not like you're just doing an incline walk.
Sorry.
I'm boring you.
No, I don't know what happened there.
Oh, no.
I got a...
Why is yawning so contagious?
I don't know why. It's so weird, isn't it?
So weird. It's not like, okay, on my rest day, I'm going to go and do an incline walk on the treadmill. Like, going for a 5k run, albeit a shorter run, it's quite taxing.
Half an hour of constant work.
Impact on your body.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting. So this weekend, for instance, we would normally go and do a gym session on the Saturday and do our long run on the Sunday. But this Saturday, we can't do our gym session. So it's going to be interesting to see if that gives us a little bit more energy back for our long run.
Weirdly though, I always feel like I have more energy anyway for the long run, maybe because mentally I'm preparing myself for it, but
possibly.
the weekday runs,
the Tuesday run, that first like easy run of the week, because there's only one day between that and the long run and then that. So, and we generally train on a Monday. I think we both do a full body on a Monday.
No, I don't think I do, because I know we're going to run on Tuesday.
I do.
I think I do. Oh no, I was supposed to. We didn't train on Monday.
We didn't train this week.
Yeah.
We've pushed it all back. So this is the point. We're still trying to figure out what is the best split for us in terms of gym sessions, that we can get the most out of our gym sessions without sacrificing what we have from our running goals.
Yeah.
And it is always going to be a little bit give and take. It's always going to be a little bit of trying to fine tune things here and there. And I think the other thing is we've got a good amount of exercise knowledge to know that, okay, like I was supposed to squat today, and I was thinking, well, I was supposed to squat on Monday, but that didn't happen. So I was supposed to squat today, and I was like, my body is telling me, like, no, do not squat. See how you feel on Friday, and I'll try on Friday. But if I can't on Friday, that's fine. I've got other exercises in my bank that I can use that aren't quite as taxing on the body, but still execute the same movements and still train the same body parts. So it's relying on knowledge in that sense, our knowledge in that sense, that we know then what we can adapt and change.
I was really, I had no energy to train today. I had a full body. I actually ended up just doing a full leg session. I didn't tell you that, but I just, because I know I'll hit chest, in my push day, so I just did a full leg day. But I followed my plan, but I was so tired that I did more machine work than barbell work and dumbbells. Again, doing exactly same, hitting the same muscle groups, but you've got that knowledge to be like, actually, instead of that, I'm going to do leg press just so that it's a little bit, I'm just using the machine. It's nicer. I'm going to use the Smith machine for my split squats instead of a dumbbell. I just felt like I needed that support today.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I guess what we're trying to say is that we've incorporated full body days in to kind of reduce that volume on our legs.
Yeah, particularly the legs, because running is taxing. Obviously, it's all legs.
And I get we actually both struggle with our knees, don't we?
Yeah, although surprisingly mine have been great.
That was the one thing I was really concerned about. I think we were both
really worried about that. Like, I've had tendon issues with my knee for
years. You had an operation on it?
No, never had an operation, but probably should have done.
What? Oh, no, you did something to your quad once, didn't you?
I had a quad contusion.
Oh, God.
Which is just a dead leg, really. But like a really bad one.
That's awful.
I couldn't walk for a week.
But that's, my knee is often triggered when I had a very quad heavy focused leg day that I did in the week. So that was my goal, to grow my quads. It still is, but I kind of had to pause that. And my knee would always get triggered because of the quad movements I was doing. It was like overloading my quads, which I was like, my running is going to, I'm not going to be able to run.
Unfortunately, running is a lot of hamstrings, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of impact through the knees. And one thing that I think has massively helped us, or, I think you're still hoping is going to help you, is running shoes.
Oh my God, we could do a whole episode on like equipment of what we've learned there.
But getting a proper gait analysis
Yeah.
and finding out what running shoes
Yeah.
suit your
Gait.
body, your
Yeah.
gait. But not even like just how they suit you. If you overpronate or if you're a neutral runner, it's also something that feels comfortable. We've had a podcast episode before being like, the gym is not a fashion show, and neither's running to some degree, but we like looking good.
Yeah, sorry if anyone says that to me ever again.
But at the same time, like the running shoes that I got are not something that I would normally wear.
I did see an old man wearing them the other day, and it's sort of like,
I mean, that's quite right. Was he just wearing them, just walking?
He was wearing them with jeans.
Oh God, he spent a lot of money on his running shoes.
Yeah, but that's what old people do, isn't it? They wear like jeans and running trainers. They
don't
know that they're running trainers.
Yeah, but they weren't cheap. Like
they weren't cheap. My stepdad just got his ons now, and he loves them.
Yeah, and but absolutely, there's a
they're
perfect
not fashion
example.
shoes. That's
there's
for
a
sure.
Perfect example. The On running shoes are a very particular type of running shoe for a very particular type of runner.
Yeah,
and a lot of people will wear them now just day to day. Fine, they're fine for day to day, but if you buy them and you try and run in them and they're not suitable for you and your gait, then you could have a lot of issues in terms of injury.
They would be the worst possible ones for me, apparently.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, with your running, with your gait, there's just no support in them on the inside. So
and if you don't need that, fine. But
but go get it tested. Go see. Go to a running shop. They all pretty much have them. Like they're there.
But it is difficult. I will just say that's another thing I've learned is that it's not really a big deal, but like running trainers are expensive, and if you get the wrong pair, sure, you can go on and sell them, but it's not like you can go and send them back because you've worn them. But it takes a few runs because your body's still getting used to running, so you're sort of like, is it the shoes, is it my body? So you need to give it a bit of time to wear them in to see if they're the right shoe for you, and then you can't send them back. And I've just ordered another pair because I feel like I'm not getting the most out of the shoe. So I've ordered something new.
But I think as well, you went into the running shop, even though you got your gait done, you went in with a specific style of shoe and a brand that you wanted. Yeah. And that's fine. Like, that's absolutely fine.
Only because I thought the other ones all looked really ugly.
No, of course. Yeah, of course. But they are more practical. And that's, I think that's the thing. It's the same with training in the gym, strength training. If I ever see people squatting in running shoes, like, I'll always try and tell them, like, you need to be wearing something flat because there's the support that they have is very different. You don't want them to be too cushioned. You want very flat shoes that you can essentially feel the ground in and stabilize yourself, because again, you could cause injuries and you could have a problem. So you wouldn't run in your Vans, but you'd run in running shoes, and you wouldn't, you shouldn't train in your running shoes. Like, if you're going to train in something, like, your Vans would be better. Cool. What was next?
Yeah, but also just quickly on that, I will just say it's okay to want to look nice in the gym.
Yeah, of course,
and when
it
you
is.
run, like, I love picking out cute little outfits for the gym and for the running.
But just do it in a practical way.
Yeah, like, don't be stupid, especially shoes, most importantly. Yeah. But like, there are some really nice running trainers out there. Yeah. They might be a little bit more expensive, but
if you can afford them, go for it.
Yeah, and if they're going to be your one shoe that is like perfect for you, definitely go for it. Do you know what? That was pretty much it. I mean, because I had a lot of questions just saying what is your new training split and how are you balancing running and lifting? But I guess we've kind of already covered that.
So if we go through, like, I'll say what mine is.
Yeah.
Like, my actual training split. Yours is very similar. So Monday, full body. Usually I'll try and squat on a Monday, so that'll be my main leg exercise on that day, and I might do some sort of hamstring exercise, but that's it. and then it's mostly upper body.
But let's just caveat that Callum has the biggest legs ever. So his goal is not to grow his legs. He's just basically training them because he should.
Of course it is. Always want to grow my legs. Tuesday we do an easy run. So at the moment it's just 5Ks, but it does vary. Like sometimes it might be a 6K. Sometimes it's we're
going to start intervals.
Yeah,
we've
got intervals on certain days. So Wednesday I'll do an upper body day, which is usually a push day. Thursday we have our intervals and tempo runs. She's yawning now. Intervals and tempo runs, which is a slightly different. Basically, it's to help us get faster at running and get used to running at faster pace than what we would do on like easy and long runs at the moment. Friday I have another full body day, and then which is mostly hamstrings and back, to be honest. It's a bit of posterior. And then on a Saturday I do upper day, which actually is just push, not upper, because I don't do back because I've done it the day before. And then Sunday we do our long run, so we don't actually have a rest day, which is completely against what we said earlier.
Yeah.
But we are trying to work out how we can fit that in. So like yesterday we did a double session. So we both did a push day and our easy run. And I think although it was hard and it might take us some getting used to, I think it was actually beneficial because it will give us a day that we can rest.
Yeah.
What's your split?
To be honest, I've been like not making it up as I go along, but I've been following my plan.
What's the split that your coach gave you?
Okay, the split my coach gave me.
Who's your coach?
The guy sat right next to me. Is Monday full body. Hang on a minute. 1, 2, 3. There's 5 days on here. You need to redo this.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
It's way too much.
That doesn't sound right at all.
5 runs and 5 runs?
5 runs?
3 runs and 5 training days.
Yeah, that's definitely not right.
Yeah, he's so bad.
I know, because I did 2 days because I wasn't sure which one of them you were going to do.
Well, he's programmed me full body on a Monday. Tuesday, arms and delts.
Tuesday you run.
Yeah, but I'm just saying what the training is. So he's expecting me to do arms and delts and then run 5K. Wednesday, pull. Thursday, full body and run. No, that's not
right, because that's running day.
And then Friday, shoulders and back, or maybe that could be a weekend one. But what I've realistically been doing,
right. No, because there's no rest days in there, is there?
No, that's what I'm telling you.
So it should be Monday full body, Tuesday arms and delts and a easy run. Wednesday, what was Wednesday? Pull. Thursday run.
Well, it says full body.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, you haven't put rest days in.
There's no rest day on there.
Okay, fine.
It's Thursday run, Friday full body 2, Saturday.
Okay, I'd like to train 4 days a week. This is too much.
Yeah, that's fine.
So realistically, what I've actually been doing is Monday full body, Tuesday push, and have I been doing that?
No, you did that yesterday, but normally we just run.
But I think I will probably start doing Tuesday push and easy run, and then Wednesday I will probably do pull, and then Thursday I will have a rest from the gym but do the interval running. And then could also rest Friday actually, and then because I quite like a Saturday session, and then Saturday I'd probably do another full body, and then Sunday long run. So you see what I mean? Still very much figuring this out. But I'm basically sticking to 2 full body days, a push and a pull day, and then obviously the runs, because that's what I really enjoy and that's what's feeling good right now. I do feel like I'm neglecting my legs a little bit, but
it feels like that. But I
do feel like I have a great quad pump when I run. So
I don't know if that's good.
No, really.
But like also, I think you think that because on your full body days, like you'll do maybe not as much volume as you would if you had like say 2 leg days in the week.
Well, I used to have 3, so it does feel like a big drop.
Of course, but you're still getting probably just as much volume as you would if you had 2.
Yeah, I think I just feel strange because I'm not focused on a specific goal. I'm not like focusing on fat loss, or I'm not focusing on like building muscle. I mean, obviously not to go into this, but I have been sort of getting a little bit excited about when after the half marathon's done, through winter, I really, really do want to properly throw myself into a reverse diet. And because I really loved how big my bum got
exciting.
in the last reverse diet. Like my bum was massive.
We've got this on camera, so whenever you get like really in your head about I've put weight on, I feel really fluffy, I'm just going to get this clip up and just show it to you.
No, I know. I need to man up and just get on with it, because that's what has to happen to build the booty.
Yeah. Or to build anything.
Yeah. And I want chunky monkey legs.
All right.
I do.
You want some of these?
I do. Can I have some? Let's take some out of your leg and put them in mine.
No.
It's not fair.
I earned these. Anyway,
I think that pretty much brings this episode to a close.
Yeah, I was worried that we actually wouldn't have much to talk about this episode. And I was thinking about 10 minutes in, I was like, oh, this is going to be a really short one. But here we are, 40 minutes later or 30 minutes later.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think, as we said, we've had loads of people are getting into running these days. So I've had so many questions about it. So I really love that you guys are kind of interacting and we can share our journeys of running and things like that. Obviously, as always, any questions, please send either me or Callum a DM on Instagram, or send one to that Gym Couple podcast. Any questions, any gym stories, literally anything, we love to hear it. And we really appreciate you taking the time to listen if you got all the way to the end.
Yeah, thank you very much, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Ciao.